let's move into your area of expertise, Manchester United. What's this guy's first name? Is it Lisandro?
Lisandro.
Lisandro Martinez. Is he 5'9", 24 years old? All
Yep.
my information's accurate. All right, I'll just let you take it away on this one.
Yeah, I mean they paid probably a bit more than they should have for him, or that at least the initial quote was that they were going to pay a little lower. I don't actually mind what the ultimate price is, because I just wouldn't want to be embarrassed by losing out to Arsenal for him, and B, I think who knows what else United will be spending money on this transfer window. You stabbed a dagger in my heart mentioning De Jong to Chelsea earlier. Um, I truly have no idea if that transfer will happen. And if it doesn't, then I think you could see some smaller moves still to go, but they probably aren't going to sign someone for the money they're talking about with De Jong otherwise. So I don't mind them saying, this is our guy. We're going to pay the extra 5-10 million to lock him down. On the pitch, it's interesting. There's been a lot of questions about his height. You have in our notes that he's the shortest center back in the Premier League, and that's true. Sky did a whole piece on it. Um, he has good headed stats is the first thing. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I know I've seen like 10 different comparisons on the Squawka matrix with him, and he comes off pretty well in all of them, which certainly helps his case. He's Ten Hag's guy. I mean, this is probably the one player we're going to get from Ajax this summer, unless we really want to stump up for Anthony. So again, I think that's good. Clearly, Ten Hag likes these versatile players, and like you have listed, he can play left back as well, which is less needed. The more important one there is that he can play center defensive midfield, which is obviously a position that has been a hole for United for years. I don't think he'll be the long-term solution to that, but it's certainly worth having a player who can step in there if need be, particularly with Matic, who was sort of the break glass in case of emergency player previously. The reporting recently is that he's going to start. I know I've seen some people sort of slating the amount of money for a rotation player, but it sounds like it's going to be him and Maguire to start the season, which I think is probably the smart move. I think we've mentioned off the podcast, or I have, that I think Maguire can nullify a lot of his the issues with his height, which I don't think are as big as people have made. But I think, say what you will about Maguire, he can head the ball.
I think didn't Nigel say that? Didn't he bring that up? Friend of the show, Nigel.
Yeah. Or I think he brought up Martinez because Arsenal fan. He was mad he didn't get him, and I brought up Maguire because I do think, I mean, it's the one thing Maguire can do well, even when everything else is going poorly for him. He's a left-sided center back, which is a big deal for United because that's been a hole. I mean, Marcus Rojo was supposed to fill that hole originally. So it's obviously been a problem for a while. And then I think I've said before on this podcast, I think Lindelof is sort of the ideal third center back to back up either of them. And Varane is just kind of a wild card. I mean, he's been so injury prone that I think Martinez was a necessary signing to have someone else at center back. And I think you just kind of right now can't plan around Varane in your team. I mean, obviously you hope he's there, and maybe he's sort of just the ultimate luxury player. If he can stay fit, then that's sort of a game changer for you, even just in terms of rotation options. But I think he's a good signing. I think, looking at the prices paid for, we probably paid a bit more than would have been ideal. But he was fantastic for Ajax. He clearly has a strong relationship with Ten Hag. He's a player, in a summer where this whole does Frankie de Jong even want to come to United storyline continues and makes me sadder every day. He's a player who really clearly wanted to come to United to work with Ten Hag, even over Arsenal, who he apparently turned down. So it's sort of it's a signing I'm pretty happy with. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I had them, but you had a lot to say there. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I always have a lot of thoughts on United. I'm sorry.
No, okay. Well, first of all, I just, we have to notice height, but I don't think, I mean, it's a similar kind of thing in hockey. Like if you, especially if his heading numbers are good, if you can work around your height and work around those bigger guys, it's still possible. Obviously it takes a lot more, like it's a lot easier for a bad big player to exist in the Premier League, but Yeah, what I wanted to comment on is that some people kind of criticize when a manager kind of like Mourinho, for instance, has these kind of he just wants to bring in players he's worked with already. But I think when you have Manchester United, a club that's been in disarray for so long, that have been throwing money at all these players with no real kind of philosophy, that the place and an easy place to start and just to get the club turned in the right direction and so that fans aren't already at Ten Hag's throats by January, it is to sign players he's familiar with. So
Agreed.
yeah, I guess people are excited about how your front lines looked in preseason. I've seen some United trade tweets for some reason. They always appear on my
Martial is
timeline.
back.
But yeah, I would be going all over Anthony. I love that guy, and I think that him and Sancho, if they can both reach their peaks, are just game changers on the
It'd be
wing.
devastating.
Creative and good finishers, good dribblers. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, to your point about signing the manager's players, I would be concerned if we weren't, honestly. I mean, United have gutted their scouting department this offseason, like completely, which I mean, good. If you look at our recent signings, that was probably warranted. And I think, yeah, you want to get Ten Hag at least a spine. I mean, it sort of sounds like they're mostly going for his players this window. If not players who have played for him, then players who he is, very well familiar with. And has selected like Malacia or Ericsson. They've been linked to Dumfries, who's sort of similar in that vein, who I'd love, but that's sort of off to the side. I think going forward, there'll be more sort of give and take between him and the scouting department in terms of who the targets are. But I think this summer, yeah, you want to get him as guys. I mean, the United dressing room has not been an ideal place to work in the last few years, and so if you can put in, I mean, I think Ericsson is going to be a really just good, calm, older head to be in there. I think Martinez is he's clearly a very passionate guy, and I think if he's loyal to Ten Hag and can bring that to the dressing room, I think that'll really help kind of build some bridges. And I think ultimately most of these signings have to be judged by how they do on the pitch, and I think his time at Ajax and the way he plays under Ten Hag makes me optimistic for that judgment.
I just want to ask, you guys were rumored with Timber earlier in the summer, and I know he's got more pace, higher potential on FIFA. Is there any sort of you wish you got him, or you still might get him, or what?
I would have liked Timber. I haven't really thought about him versus Martinez because it sort of seems like there was maybe 3 weeks where it looked like the Timber deal was done. And it sounds like the story was Van Gaal was in his ear saying, I can't guarantee you a World Cup place if you're at United, which fair enough. There was no reason that he had to leave Ajax now. I still wouldn't be shocked if, January next summer we get him, because I think he would have been signed as more of a right back than a center back. But it looks like he's signing a new contract at Ajax. I don't think that's anything tying him down long term, just more wages and sort of a reward for staying. Yeah, like I said, I think I would have liked him. I would have honestly taken both of them happily. But it's too bad it didn't work out there. I think it sort of soured a lot of fans on him, the way he sort of went from I'm going to be Ten Hag's guy and come immediately to sort of, at least the way it's been portrayed in the media, is not feeling like he wanted to risk his World Cup spot when, I mean, if your competition is Diego Dallo and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, then I don't know. I think I rate my chances of getting in the 11 ahead of those guys. But, it's a shame, but Martinez certainly softens the blow, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now I don't really blame him because although, the competition isn't great, it's still Man United. And I feel like Ajax is maybe even at this point still a safer bet for him, especially if Van Gaal is coming out and saying, now you can make what you want about Van Gaal's philosophy there. And, if the player's still performing well internationally, who cares where he plays for at club level?
He's a couple years younger than Martinez as well, to be fair. So I think Martinez feels a little more comfortable in where he's at internationally with Argentina, and just as a player as well. So I don't blame Timber for saying I want that extra year just to be a guaranteed starter on a good team that I'm comfortable with, and he gets a World Cup under his belt. So there's a world where they sign him for maybe even a little cheaper next summer, United, and it looks like a brilliant move. But we'll see. I think it's fair enough on player and club side. Particularly, like I said, given that United are going to get Martinez instead, and I think still have a chance of getting Anthony if they're willing to pay up.